You screamed at the television screen last night because another man kicked a ball inches away from a painted post. You spilled your drink and felt a genuine spike of adrenaline course through your chest. In that exact moment, your phone vibrated with an automated alert from your bank regarding a missed credit card payment. You ignored the heavy reality vibrating in your pocket to focus on the bright green grass. You gave them your fire.
The ruling class designed this exact mechanism to keep your eyes fixed on the grass while they empty your pockets. In his 1939 book, Daily Life in Ancient Rome, Jerome Carcopino describes a cunning emperor facing massive public unrest due to crushing grain taxes. The emperor does not lower the taxes or improve the broken supply lines. He orders the massive wooden gates of the Colosseum thrown open to the starving public. He stages 70 consecutive days of brutal chariot races and gladiator combat. The screaming crowd forgets the hunger waiting for them in their dark homes. They argue about the blue and green racing factions instead of discussing the corrupt senators. The spectacle erases the famine. The modern architects built massive glowing stadiums using your tax money, while the roads outside your window crumble into dust.
You buy expensive tickets and monthly broadcasting subscriptions to watch the modern gladiators perform under the massive stadium lights. You dedicate your finite emotional energy to a massive illusion, while your purchasing power dissolves into nothing. The system relies on your absolute dedication to the game to prevent you from examining the bars of your own cage. The stadium is a silencer.
Keeping your eyes on the arena was just the foundation of the architecture, but making sure you never looked up at the owners required engineering a very specific type of hatred. In his 1945 essay, The Sporting Spirit, George Orwell observes a hostile crowd gathered to watch a football match between two rival nations. He watches the spectators scream vicious insults at the visiting team and attack the opposing fans in the muddy streets.
Orwell realizes the game has nothing to do with athletic grace, fair play, or human connection. He notes that the match functions as a brutal war stripped of firearms. The field absorbs the revolution. The elite understand that a squeezed population generates massive amounts of dangerous anger that could threaten the stability of the entire financial system. They cannot destroy this heavy human emotion, so they build massive concrete bowls to contain it safely.
They give you a colored shirt and a national flag and tell you to hate the man wearing a different color across the street. You direct your raw fury at your own neighbor while the ruler sleeps in total peace. You felt this exact manufactured rage yesterday when you argued with a coworker about a controversial referee decision. You felt genuine malice toward a man who shares your exact same financial struggles. You fought a bitter verbal war over a game played by millionaires who do not know your name. You walked away from the argument feeling a false sense of tribal superiority because your chosen colors achieved a minor victory on the field. You fail to realize that both you and your hated rival will return to the exact same miserable corporate cubicle the next morning to generate profit. You are fighting the wrong war. Directing your anger at your neighbor neutralized the physical threat to the palace, but capturing the raw energy of that tribal anger presented a perfect opportunity to extract your remaining capital. In his 1995 book, Soccer in Sun and Shadow, Eduardo Galeano examines a wealthy television executive sitting in a quiet corporate suite. The executive watches raw footage of poor children kicking a ball of tied rags in a dusty street. He does not see a beautiful game of human expression or cultural joy. He sees a massive, untapped global market of desperate human loyalty. The executive drafts a heavy legal contract that restricts the broadcasting rights and forces the poor to pay for access to their own culture. The ruling class took a free game played in the dirt and transformed it into a rigid toll booth for the human soul.
They understand that logic and reason can be negotiated, but blind tribal passion will pay any price demanded without question. They place corporate logos on the chests of your...
You paid a staggering markup for a piece of cheap fabric manufactured in a distant factory. You convinced yourself you were supporting the legacy of the historic club and showing true devotion. You were funding the massive quarterly dividends of the invisible holding company that owns the stadium and the broadcasting rights. You trade the money you need for your own escape to ensure the owners thrive. Passion is a corporate asset. Draining your wallet through tribal loyalty secured their massive profits. But ensuring you return to your desk every Monday morning required replacing your actual ambition with a phantom achievement. In his 1960 book, Crowds and Power, Elias Canetti observes a broken man standing in the middle of a massive, screaming stadium. The man possesses a failing career, massive debts, and a miserable daily existence that he desperately wants to escape forever. When the local team scores a crucial goal, the man throws his arms into the air and screams in absolute triumph. Canetti realizes the man has surrendered his pathetic individual identity to the mob. The broken man merges with the powerful, victorious identity of the massive crowd to feel a sense of power he lacks in reality. The system relies on your continuous failure to keep the cheap labor market flooded with desperate workers. If you experienced actual success in your personal life, you would stop accepting the terrible conditions they offer you every day. They substitute your missing personal victories with the engineered victories of a massive sports franchise. You attach your fragile ego to a group of strangers and claim their physical achievements as your own personal triumphs. You accept your miserable reality because the team won a shiny trophy on Sunday night. You experienced this phantom victory last year when your national team advanced in the global tournament. You drove through the dark streets honking your car horn and waving a flag with tears of joy in your eyes. You felt like a massive conqueror returning from a brutal military campaign. You woke up the next morning in the exact same tiny apartment with the exact same negative bank balance staring back at you. The trophy ignores your existence. Giving you a phantom victory kept you docile at the desk, but expanding this mechanism across the entire globe required a psychological conditioning that makes you beg for the distraction. In his 1958 book, Brave New World Revisited, Aldous Huxley examines the terrifying power of continuous mass entertainment on the modern political state. He observes a population ignoring massive government corruption because they are consumed by trivial amusements. He realizes that a modern dictator no longer needs secret police or heavy iron chains to control a massive population. The state simply floods the public consciousness with endless sports, statistics, and manufactured dramas. The people running the global economy do not fear your political votes or your angry online protests. They fear the exact moment you turn off the glowing screen and look at the brutal structure of your daily life. They flood your calendar with endless tournaments and qualifying matches to ensure you never have a moment of silent clarity to map your own escape route. They weaponize the entertainment to steal your most valuable asset before you can ever deploy it for your own benefit. You felt the heavy weight of this massive theft last weekend when you spent 6 hours watching consecutive sporting matches on your television set. You sat on the couch while the sun crossed the entire sky. You had a list of personal projects and financial documents sitting on your desk gathering dust. You promised yourself you would organize your chaotic life. You stared at the moving colors on the screen until the sun went down and the weekend vanished completely into the dark. You traded your only available exit path
for a flashing digital scoreboard. Entertainment deletes the clock.
Stealing your time prevented your physical escape, but ensuring the intelligent classes did not organize a rebellion required turning their sharp minds into useless encyclopedias. In his 1979 book, Distinction, Pierre Bourdieu examines a highly educated professional analyzing the complex tactical formations of a sporting match. The professional spends hours memorizing player statistics, historical records, and the intricate financial details of massive player transfers across the continent.
Bourdieu notes that the professional uses this useless knowledge to prove his intellectual superiority over the casual fans. The intellectual traps his own mind in a meaningless maze. The architects of the farm know that intelligent citizens pose the greatest threat to the established order if they focus their minds on the real economic structure. They give you fantasy leagues, complex betting odds, and tactical analysis shows to absorb your extreme analytical bandwidth. You use your brilliant mind to solve the puzzle of a fake game, while your actual life remains a chaotic financial disaster. You engaged in this exact waste of mental energy last Thursday when you spent 2 hours reading articles about a potential managerial change. You analyzed the tactical implications and debated the financial strategy of the club on a digital forum with total strangers who share your obsession. You deployed the mental focus of a seasoned general to evaluate a situation you cannot control or influence. You could have used those exact same 2 hours to study the tax code, analyze a real estate market, or build a secondary stream of income. You chose to become a supreme expert on the movement of a ball across a patch of grass. You handed your sharpest weapon to the enemy. Intelligence requires a target.
Neutralizing your intellect kept the domestic borders secure, but creating the ultimate illusion of global peace required masking the brutal geopolitical reality behind a carnival of colorful flags. In his 1983 book, Imagined Communities, Benedict Anderson studies a citizen watching a massive international event broadcast across the world. The citizen feels a deep, mystical connection to millions of strangers he will never meet, simply because they are watching the exact same event.
Anderson notes that this shared experience creates a powerful hallucination of unity. The broadcast manufactures the tribe. The ruling class uses the global tournament to paint a false picture of international harmony, while they conduct brutal economic warfare in the shadows. They show you players exchanging jerseys and smiling for the cameras to convince you the world is a fair and balanced playing field, without any rigged outcomes.
They hide the exploited migrant workers who died pouring the concrete for the massive stadiums under the hot desert sun. You buy into this manufactured harmony every time you share a heartwarming video of opposing fans celebrating together in the streets. You ignore the fact that the host nations use the massive event to whitewash their terrible human rights records and secure brutal trade deals in the private luxury boxes. You applaud the beautiful opening ceremony, while the invisible architects sign the massive contracts that will eventually increase your daily taxes. You sat in a crowded cafe yesterday and talked about the beautiful unity of the global game. You felt a warm glow of hope for humanity as you watched the colorful flags wave in the wind. You did not see the massive corporate sponsors lobbying the government. The spectacle hides the knife.
The global tournament is not a beautiful celebration of the human spirit or a testament to international unity. It is an engineered extraction machine designed to harvest your capital, neutralize your anger, and replace your actual ambition with an empty cheer. The massive concrete bowls are not monuments to physical grace. They are the holding pens for a population that surrendered its future for a 90-minute televised distraction.
You will wake up tomorrow and return to the exact same financial struggle, while the victors
fly away in private jets. Whoever understands the true function of the arena stops screaming at the screen and starts building an empire in absolute silence. The people who stepped out of the grandstands left their flags in the dirt and walked away. Something on this screen is the modern version of that act of seeking. You are now on the side that sees.